Welcome back to another episode of Talking Tech with CSI. I'm Allison Maddock, Chief Product Officer at CSI, a technology company delivering innovative solutions to financial institutions and other organizations. Today, we're diving into the growing threats of fraud and money laundering and how your organization can fight back. Our guest today is CSI's Compliance Director, Bradley Wallace. Bradley, I'm excited to have you on Talking Tech.
Thank you, Allison. Glad to be here.
Let's start off with a foundation on the differences between fraud and money laundering.
Allison, related to financial services, fraud has a pretty straightforward definition, which is the intentional misrepresentation of the information or identity to create monetary gain. For the matter of money laundering, FinCEN really has the best definition, which is criminals disguising financial assets so they can be used without detection of the illegal activity that produced them. Through money laundering, the criminal transforms the monetary proceeds derived from criminal activity into funds with an apparently legal source.
Despite being two distinct financial crimes, the prevention of fraud and money laundering is often referenced together using the term FRAML. Why does our industry combine fraud detection and anti-money laundering efforts as a holistic defense?
Well, Allison, as you state, FRAML is the combination of both fraud and AML as a term. What these two tools do for us is to combine the keys to ensuring that suspect activity is not missed for such things as CTRs and SAR filings. To summate, it is a holistic defense leveraging both the resources of a financial institution's fraud and AML tools. Fraud is the gain of the monetary resources, and AML is the integration to legitimize the funds for their ultimate use.
And Bradley, you have over 16 years of compliance experience, so you've had a front row seat to the evolution of these financial crimes as well as the technology to combat them. What's the biggest threat for institutions regarding fraud and money laundering techniques, and how does that compare to what you've seen throughout your career?
Well, Allison, fraud and money laundering constantly evolve with technology. Throughout all compliance professionals' careers, we have been challenged with staying ahead of the pace of financial crime as a whole. Being equipped to understand and identify the legitimate flow of funds versus the ill-gotten or illicit use of funds is the real big issue that we have to contend with. I would say that, in my opinion, the consistent threat has always been understanding legitimate from illegitimate funds, and that is still the biggest threat to being able to identify and report fraud and money laundering as a whole. I would also be remiss if I do not point out the growing threat of synthetic IDs as another tool that is being used today. In the digital age, it is so easy to create what does not exist and make it appear to be legitimate.
Before we wrap up today, what's the biggest mistake you see institutions make when it comes to building up their FRAML defenses, and what steps can they take to strengthen their strategy?
Well, Allison, I would say right now it is a resistance to embrace the new technologies that are readily available to us, or just even a lack of exploration of what the services can do for the financial institution. I know there has always been some fear of FRAML tools taking the places of our AML and fraud associates. It may take the place of what our AML fraud associates and compliance associates do on a day-to-day basis, but there will always be a need for human intervention, and that human intervention is going to be used for making sure that data and decision-making is created for our customers for the reporting purposes. These tools will simply make us all far more efficient and better equipped to understand the financial crime and money laundering occurring just within our client base and our financial institutions as a whole.
Bradley, it was wonderful to have you on our second episode of Talking Tech with CSI.
Thank you, Allison.
Stay tuned for our next episode in the series to discuss the evolution of payment systems and the implication of real-time payments and the FedNow service on the banking industry.